ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो परम गुरुभ्यो श्रीमदानंद तीर्थ भगवत्पादाचार्योभ्यो नमो नमः। नारायण परिपूर्ण गुणार्णवाय विस्फोदय स्थितितोलय नियतिप्रदाय ज्ञानप्रदाय विबुधा सुर सौख्य दुःख सत्कारणाय विददाय नमो नमस्ते। यो विप्रलिम्ब विपरीतमधिप्रबोधान् वादान् रसकृतवान् भुवितत्ववादम् सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपातकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवर्यं नमामि। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहैः तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Welcome friends once again to our journey of Kathopanishad. We have seen, because now into the second adhyaya, as to the exposition of the nature of the God, we have been seeing it, because the last few mantras, and we have come up to the 2.9, 2.10 and 2.11. These are all the mantras, we were going through. In fact, we have gone through the mantra number 2.9. In a nutshell, what we have seen is, because the exposition of the nature of the God and exposition of the nature of the God is, we know, his qualities, he is the ultimate and, he is flawless. But he gives us the energy and he works with us and he gives every thought and attitude and action so that, we are able to perform whatever we have been given at that point of time with a full attention, excel in everything, and finally attain success. And success invariably gives you the happiness in the material world. Why in the material world? Because happiness matters in the material world because it is controversy, the contra to the sorrow or unhappiness, because or the distress in the world. So the happiness is always preferred, because when you find something where you keep it in the pleasant mood, when we are able to perform with all the sort of a joy and attention, you find it in happiness. But you should not be, once you indulge in the happiness, then you find the purpose of what you are going to do, because that is also the danger is there. So therefore, the happiness is the one which enables you to which propels you to do further and excel in everything, whatever you are doing. So this is what exactly, because while we are in this world, we will have to act, because that is the only way we can experience. To get the experience, we will have to work through our, all the senses and sensibilities through which the senses, are able to give the meaning to what we are experiencing this world. And finally, all the experiences are being collected in the mind, and the intellect gives us the choicest experiences, which we would like to have or which we would like to pursue as a goal. And this is constantly changing. Every day as you are progressing in this world with the experience, your goal also changes. You are always going into a one level higher than what you are. That is the purpose. The indulgence in the matters always takes you down, it decelerates the progress. What you've done, because if you are 2 steps ahead, it brings you 3 steps down. If you are indulging into anything that is interesting to you in this world, that's what, we saw 2 words, in the second chapter of the first adhyaya, Shreyas and Preyas. Shreyas is what is good for us, what is desirable for us. But prayers is the one which is delightful for us, because where we can be having the happiness around and all. But once you are trying to find only choose, what is happiness and all, because you are choosing one side of the coin, because you are not seeing the other side of the coin and all. So therefore, to balance, you will have to, the coin will have to roll. So you will have to do everything without getting any indulgence in anything. In extreme indulgence, either in sorrow or happiness, is going to take away your mood. How you will, because you will be, if you are following, why it has happened. Wow, because how, because I did everything right, why it had happened. Because and there is no other way I could have done, because the clarity doesn't come. There could be a better way, because the clarity has not come, because we have not applied ourselves. So this Upanishad sort of propels us to apply ourselves as well as see everything in the light of it, and not get, because swayed by whatever happens to us. But at the same time, because try to find, because what is the best way in which you can excel in whatever you are doing, however minuscule it may be. It may be a great work, a good work become a great work once you give every attention to that. And when you are trying to give every attention, you will only use the resources to the optimum, and you will give because you will be trying to work as smartly as possible. You will not be dissipating the energy. How you will be able to attain success? All of us have got the limited time in the world. How we can attain that and all? Working smartly and using the resources optimally, and getting through the every issue to within the time that is allotted. You will not be dissipating, because you can't be unnecessarily being getting into things which is of not are not going to add any value to you or to anyone else. Because we may be having certain angularities. The angularities comes because of we have got certain nature and all. Because even though we know, because we don't have to indulge in all these things, we don't have to do certain things. Still, by habit, we may be getting into it. To change the habit, because to have as minimum habits as possible, to have as a maximum focus in what we can bring in. The habits more often, it brings you down your focus. So if you have more habits, I am used to this, I will be doing only like this, I will follow this method only. If you are trying to put the conditionalities around you, because your focus will be, you will not be able to, you are not open to the other ideas. You will not be able to give focus to the proper solution to this issue. So this is what has been brought about in this Upanishad. Last week we saw how a good work to great work, we can progress by applying ourselves. The same thing, has been now brought about, and in the process, it has also brought about how, because the faculties are working, how the senses are working, how we will be able to use it to the maximum advantage. So in that process, because as they have, as we are trying to find, what is the, because all these things, we have seen and all. It says, because whenever, you see, because you are getting the attention to certain things and you are doing it and all. And we are trying to find the proper attention, only required attention is given to the particular item, particular object. We do not want to unnecessarily, because you are going to a place, as I was talking, because assuming even if you are going to a sort of a dining table, and if there is a spread of, because all this buffet is there, you will only pick up, what is required. You will not be unnecessarily wasting on the time on so many other things which may be spread, just because, they may be attractive. But you may not be, it's not tough, it's not going to add any value to that. You may not be giving anything. And if you are a diabetic, you will not be going to the sweets, but you will go to the mild sweets, which you have been permitted to take. So you may be going to certain, because the nourishments like protein related and other things, you will be doing. You will not be unnecessarily indulging in whatever is available and all, because that discrimination comes. That intellect acquires it, because that it knows, because this is how, you can use the optimum resources, and, because you can get the focus, and finally the nourishment is there, the energy is required for you to act in this world. And if you take something, because finally, you have some stomach problem or gut problem and all, you will only be suffering. You will have to get through that. So I think that is unwanted, because we can avoid that, by focusing properly on that. That, as a child, because it will be interested in everything, because whatever it sees. But as you are growing, you know what is good for you and what is appropriate for you. And then you will be taking like that. So in this context only we discussed that. Now we also discussed the mantra number 2.9, which was telling, because like Agnir Yatako Bhuvanam Pravishta, Rupam Rupam Pratirupo Babuva. Because like fire, see, you will see the fire in different ways. You will see the fire in your kitchen, the fire in your sort of, because you will be having fire elsewhere. And, because even the same fire, it comes in the form of induction heater, because the electrical energy is converted into the heat, it is also there. Your gas is also there. And if you are using the fire in your prayer room, you are incense, you are lighting up the incense or you are lighting up, the camphor, it will give the odor and the nice odor and all that. And then, because if it is used elsewhere, because you are manufacturing something, you need the fire, because in the plants, it is a different type of fire, it is sort of a converting, because one form of the matter into another form of matter, it needs the energy and that fire will be different and the furnaces will be different. Likewise, fire takes different forms. Here the concept is the fire as such, because the innate quality of the fire is considered to be the divine power of the fire, because that's why we have considered it as an element. The five elements we have considered: earth, fire, water, ether, and because earth, fire, water, ether, and air, all of them are considered to be the divine force, the divine elements. That's why, because in the Vedas we have got the Suktams, Vayu Suktam is there, Apa Suktam, all those things are there, and Prithvi Suktam. Because all those things are there because we are considering, it is a divine power. That is, the innate quality is divine and it manifests in different forms. It manifests in different forms, when it combines with the matter, and when it has to manifest itself, it gives that. So that is why it is nothing but a reflection of the divine power, which is being manifested in different forms. Because we consider all the elements to be, because in our philosophy, Indian philosophy, considered to be the divine power, the manifesting themselves in different ways. Because, because when it comes as tsunami, it comes as such a power, because that you will not be able to stand that, because even it is the Prithvi power, because the earthquake as well as the water and the ocean also gets them, because it is sort of, phenomenal force. If a tornado is there, if a twister is there, which is taking place on and off, in North America and other places, it's all the power. So that divine power, we will not, because it has got its power, but it is being manifested and appropriately for the benefit of the human mind. Because in the kitchen it gives its own, usage. Elsewhere in your prayer room, it gives its own usage. So they have taken the elements, how it manifests. Likewise, it is the supreme power, Brahman. He is manifesting, because wherever he will be, when he has got different manifestations. But, because they are all, because they're divine. But then, we are all the reflections. So the reflection, by being a reflection, because when it manifests, it is a reflection. When it in its own form, because it is coming it is coming as a tornado in the sea, or because tsunami in the sea, or tornado on the ground, or it comes as a blaze, elsewhere in the forest. They are all particular manifestations. But when it is being used, because by the others, because it's also a reflection. So the reflection is like that, it says, you understand, it is like a Bimba and Pratibimba. If the Supreme Brahman is Bimba, you are only a Pratibimba, you are only a reflection. If a sun is reflected on the water, no, it is only a reflection. It is not the sun per se as it is. No one will consider it, because it is a sun, because it is only the reflection. But if the water, evaporates, there will not be any reflection. So the reflection is there as long as the water is there and water is clear. If the water is contaminated, even the reflection will also be, it is sort of a smudged, you will not be able to see the clear reflection. It says it is like this, because like we are all only the reflections. The reflection will not be the same as the original sun. That's why, because in Isavasya Upanishadam, we have got that the famous mantra, Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Apihitam Mukam. Because he is the golden orb of the sun, because he is giving, lighting up the entire world, giving the energy entire to the plant, animals, and the beings in the world, and all the, not only beings in the world and the other cosmos also, because there are so many suns, in the galaxy. That's what, our, so likewise, the sun, which is giving us, in the to the earth. So he is giving, because he is not bothered. But when we get the reflection and all, we see it, only as much as possible for us. So it has got its own light. It is not affected anyway at all. Rupam rupam pratirupa bhavati. Because it is being reflected in the media in which, because like if your mind is clear, you will be able to get the divine qualities, spiritual practices, as well as the kindness, compassion, love, and all those noble qualities you will be able to reflect, because he gives to everyone. But, if you are clogged, if you are smudged, if you are having dust, you will not be able to. Yatistata bhutar antaratma rupam rupam pratirupo bahischa. That's what it says. When he is there inside, giving you the life. But, because when it is being reflected in the outside, because like the beings and all, we are only the reflection. We are not having the same quality. So it shows, because he is the regulator of all, he is the bimba, and others are all pratibimbas, all beings and creatures are pratibimbas of the God. This bimba pratibamba relation is explained. It's like that, because it's by a simile, it's also being explained. And what is that, if it is a bimba pratibimba, how does it matter? Okay, because we are pratibimba, yes, we know. Even otherwise, because the philosophy says, you can become more, you can realize, the God realization can happen, sakshatkara, Brahma sakshatkara happen, and other, because our philosophy also, the ones, another stream of interpretation says, you can have His grace. By having His grace, finally, you will be able to get the part of the bliss, that you are entitled to, depending upon the capacity, skill, and the sadhana you have done. Because all of us, maybe in a different levels of, the clarity, because all of us may not be having the same sattva quality. Some of us may be having 80%, some of us may be having 60% or 50%, depending upon that we will be able to get all those noble qualities in us. Reflection. And more you are having the noble quality, and I think, because this bliss in the sense, because the firmness, with which you are able to get the unassailable sort of a bliss what you are having, not necessarily happiness. Happiness is momentary, ephemeral, if it comes and goes, but it is not that. In everlasting happiness, that will be the bliss. So that will be there, because you will just be observing everything and be doing your thing. You will not be bothered when you are doing something, because something may succeed, something may not. Something may get into sort of issues, you will have to resort to solve and all. Something may require, more efforts. And so then, you can't say, because why it happens to me. In the sense, because there may be a way, but you are not able to identify the way because the mind is clogged. Once you have the clarity, you will be able to get through. So like a crystal clear crystal will allow the light to pass through. The clarity comes like that. The clarity is always there. The clarity is also based on the knowledge, experience, as well as your ability to sort of regurgitate and your ability to reflect yourself. And then, because either you be, will be having all the knowledge, otherwise you will try to get the knowledge from those who are already having it. For instance, if you are fighting a case, you will be going to a lawyer, because assuming that, because your case is not progressing well, then you will go to some other lawyer, who is supposed to be more sort of experienced. So you will try to get his advice and try to do that. Likewise, because either, you may be having a knowledge or you will be trying to get from wherever it is available. And with the clarity, you will be taken to the right person who can give you the advice. That's what. If you don't have the clarity, because in then let me do that, if this is not happening, let me go through that, you will get into some sort of a mess. You will, so many things will be sort of cropping around and you will not be able to solve all of them. So you will have to get through everything with the clarity of the mind. So with the clarity of the mind comes, because since you understand, if you have a realization, you are also a reflection of the great power. In the sense, then keep it in the back of the mind. It's not going to be, because once you know that, you will always get the solution. The power inside you will always take you to the solution, propel you to go to the place and, because trigger you to get the solution. The solution trigger will come either in the form of ideas to yourself or from the form of, some other person who will be very much knowledgeable and having expertise in this, whose advice will help you to do that. But till then, if you don't have the clarity, perhaps, your sort of your propensity to approach that person, the thought itself will not arise. That is why when any issue comes, because you will have to see it, from the datum line how it comes. But it is very difficult for us, because since we are doing, and because our own actions are involved, we are so committed to our action, we are not able to extricate ourselves, what could have gone wrong. That is the problem. Because once we see, because even I could have, because I'm not infallible, I could fail, I could have done something wrong, and because some mistake could have happened, or I might not have followed the procedure rightly. Perhaps I might not have understood the procedure properly, or I might not have, because taken the right steps. Maybe we have missed it. There is no harm, you can always course correction can be done. So that is why, because the clarity gives you the pathway to get the things right and go about. This is what has been basically, it reflects when he says, because it is a manifestation, because, you will be able to get, once you get it, the idea is you should also understand others are also reflection. It's not only you. So whoever you are dealing with, or whoever is working with you, or whoever you are fighting, or you are sort of having any issues with, all of them are reflections. It's not that once you have it, you will have an open mind. You will try to find, because what is the solution to the issue? You will not be going by the personality cult, because you will not be blinded by the personality of the person with whom you are dealing. Fortunately, unfortunately, we find, because most of the time, it is not what is being said is considered to be important. Who is saying what is considered to be important? You can say in politics or in everything, every walk of life. So if a person, because of your choice, he tells even some rubbish, you will consider it to be a gospel. And if a person, whom you don't have a high regard, even if he tells something, because more meaningful, I think, you will not regard it, because we go by that. Because to have an open mind, to get into the thing and to deal with the person as they are, without any sort of a fear or without favor or likes and dislike, this, with this sort of once you are knowing, because I am capable of handling everything as perfectly as possible. And I will be able to deal with everyone who is also having the same capacity. Maybe I think, they have not accessed the capacity, because I have accessed the capacity. Otherwise, it could be other way around. I have not accessed the capacity, but someone else has accessed the capacity. Because when the other person tells you the right solution, you may not be able to take it, because you have got your own ideas on that, your own sort of a bent up mind on that. Your stance may be in that. Because we will have, once your open mind is there, you will take out all those things. You will be able to see, what is the real issue that and how we can go. It is finding a solution to every problem. This is what has been brought about. For that, it is always required. That is what it says, because Agnir Yatako Bhuvanam Pravishta. Because like the fire is manifesting in different form, all the beings are manifested, depending upon as the diffractions. So you will be dealing with a lawyer in the sense, he has got a particular mode of thinking. And if you talk to a doctor, he has got a particular mode of thinking. So likewise, when you are finding, how you can, understand their viewpoint, you are able to deal, you will be able to meaningfully exchange and get the solution. And another important thing required is concern for others. When you are doing, all others are also reflection. You will have, you will not be doing anything to the detriment of the others. You will be trying to do as best as possible, because so that, because it's conducive to everyone. Because it's not that you will be doing, it doesn't cause undue sort of a harm to anyone else. That is what has to be taken care, because everyone is rupam pratirupa babhuva, because they were all, in the reflections. And like you, so we are not special. That is the meaning. We are like anyone else. Once you have the feeling, that also helps you to bring down the ego factor also down, the ego quotient also down. That gives more clarity. More of the things, we are attached to our habits and our idea of thinking, our own sort of a dogmas. It's all because the ego is, yes, look, I always did like that. I always think like that. I always do like that. Give it up. What you're doing is at that point of time may be relevant, not now. because the things are different. Can I operate, because 30 years before, whatever we are operating now, the corporate culture is different, even the operation is different, the transaction is different, the modes are different. It's all digital, in those days, we have all worked with the manual things. And then, of course, you will have to keep pace with that. So likewise, once you are having it, you will have to give some sort of a curiosity, to get into that. So therefore, with this open mind, if you are able to approach, you will always able to find a solution. For that, you always have to keep in your mind, Agniritako Bhuvanam Pravishta Rupam Pratirupa Bhava Ekastata Sarva Bhutan Tatratma. Because the same the one power is there in everyone. Every being, creature, it is there. Rupam Pratirupam Bahishta, because they are all reflected only. So therefore, deal with them in appropriate concern, appropriate sort of without fear or favor, or without like or dislike, deal with them and get the solution. Be open minded. This is what it says. The same sort of a mantra has been, because the similar mantra has been repeated in Vayur Yatako Bhuvanam Pravishta Rupam Pratirupa Bhava Bhavu. This is 2.10, because the next mantra. Ekastata Sarva Bhutant Antaratma Rupam Pratirupa Bhava. Like Vayu also gets different manifestation. As we have said, it could be a tornado somewhere, it could be a twister somewhere, it could be a pleasant wind somewhere. It will be a sort of a mountain, sort of a air. Because when you go up on summer, you get because these are all sanatoriums, are there, where to recoup your health. They give you the pristine, pure air, with all the energy there and all. And the same air you are breathing right from the day, you come into this world. And it is getting into you, you are breathing, exhaling, inhaling. The breath is, because that's why Vayu Jivottama it is being called. Vayur Anilam, Amrutam, Adedam, Basmantam, Sariram, when it is said, because he is the one, in which, because the Vayu gets the power even from that highest power, the Brahman, or the life force, the Paramatman, and who is giving the power. He is supposed to be resident, and he is under his guidance only, the breath is also taking place. Under his orders only, because the breath also stops. So when the breath goes, it doesn't go any, it manifests into 5 different forms. Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana. Because in the 5 forms when it gets in, because it has got the prana is, taking the fresh air, and Vyana is the one, because Apana is the one, takes out, all the exhaust, because your carbon dioxide and all the toxic waste goes off. And then Vyana is the one, it spreads the energy all through the body. Udana is the one, which takes, because the entire energy upwards, to the body, and, because finally gets the mind and other things, the brain and all energized, finally you are able to get, the chakras are activated and Samana, it gives the balance, a fine balance. You have to be kept in a balance. Like your digestion, fire. Digestion is considered to be a fire, because fire, when we say Agni Pumanam Pravishta, because the last mantra, it is even your Agni in your stomach, it is a fire. It is like he just, digests, that fire has to digest. And that is being brought by, because the Vayu, he does it. And he also extricates everything, because through the excreta. If it is not there, because you will not be able to, because they can't be kept, all the rubbish can't be kept in the body. It has to go off. So likewise, it is being done. It is again a manifestation of the Agni. It is a manifestation of the Vayu, and it is also giving the power of the Agni. When the power of the Agni comes, it is a manifestation of the Agni. Likewise, we have considered the entire divine power to be activating in us, and as well, because propelling us to experience this world. This is what, we have seen, and this is again a Chetana Vayu, because this is what, it is also divine power, and it manifests, and it's all the different type of, the Nasika Vayu, and, because whether it is other, tornadoes, twisters, or any other thing, because they are all manifestations. Like, because when you are having a phone, or when you are having a fan or air conditioner, even that brings the energy, that by you, the cooled up air comes, because that's also a manifestation, because you are trying to use the power the power of the, because the what God-given power, you are extracting, and through that, you are converting into your convenience. So, like this, in short, because what this mantra says is, all of us, because this is irrespective of the country, creed, religion, or anything like that. This entire Upanishad brings this concept very clear. The God is one. He has got many forms. He will manifest, the many forms, or he will make the elements, which are under his command, they will manifest in any form. And basically, because we are all the pratibimba, we are all the reflections. So once you are a reflection of the particular, the form of the God, you have to have, because the godly qualities, you are entitled, you are sort of a birthright to acquire the godly qualities. Are you doing it in this birth? That is the question. Once you are considered to be a reflection, assuming, because even if it is a proposition, the proposition is meant to find, whether you are able to acquire, because that is the opportunity for you to take this human being. Durlabam Manushya Janmana, having taken the highest form of evolution in the scheme of things. Have you taken up that? This is exactly the question, because that has been asked repeatedly. And then once you have done the Agni, Vayu, or, because whatever, they are there, they are all manifesting. How, because this manifestation, why, because it's being explained, again and again, you will have to go by that and all. Because finally, the power of the ultimate Brahman is being reflected through all his elements, through every form. Like, you have got a government. The government has got various departments. And the departments work under, because the various ministries and, they work under it. But finally, because the entire action done everywhere is in the name of the government. So, because even if any action is taken, it is like the President of India, he is supposed to have issued. Because he does, President of India doesn't do it, because the concept is, it is by his orders, things are being done. Because the system has been set in such a way, because whatever actions are done, finally it is having the force of the government behind that. Therefore, if you want to challenge any of the action, you will have to go to the court. And court, if it says if the government has got the powers to do, within its rights and all, you cannot do anything at all. But only when it affects your personal liberty, whatever has been assured in the constitution to you, if they are violated somewhere, then the court will come into action. Otherwise, because the government has got, the responsibility to take care of the resources and to take all other action. Even if, because some remote corner of the country, if some part of the government takes the action, it is deemed to be the action of the government. Likewise, whatever happens, because to us, because all these, the divine powers, whatever, all the five elements, whenever they are being manifested in document, it is all supposed to be the final, because the command of the control of the entire prime power, because the Brahman. So that is what, we have by doing that, what we are going to achieve, by assuming, understanding that what we are going to achieve. So this is exactly, because the question comes. So as we have been seeing, because when we, because work into the world, as we have been facing everyday issues, as well as, we do have, because our own sort of our own attitude towards, what is happening in this world. So once we start, because taking the happenings to us and the experience, whatever we are getting us, whatever coming to us, then you try to develop an attitude, because once you develop, because it is why it is, it's not correct, it's not right, it should not have happened. Because whatever has happened, it's not in your hand. You are not going to set it right anyway. If something has happened, if we don't like it also, because I will have to find, because how best from my part I can do it, because not having the effect of that, to others to happen, or how else, because I can just make, things in such a way that, because whatever happenings, can't be, but the effect of the happenings, because I may be able to ward off myself. How I can ward off myself? Happenings will happen. You will not be able to hold, you are not the power unto, because it doesn't ask, because when the flight is there, because you are also boarding the flight, whether the flight will take off or whether it will reach the destination or, whether it will not have any problem. It's not in our hands as it is. But then once you have decided that you will have to take, whatever modes of transportation, because to the place where you have to go, because you have got to act, because you got certain responsibilities to fulfill, or you have decided, because that you'll have to there and you'll have to be there. And by focusing on all the probabilities, it's not that, you will not go, you will have to go anyway. But then you cannot be taking, all the experiences happening around the world as the reason for you not doing. It has happened, you can't do it, it will happen, because it's not that, there is no guarantee it will not happen. But you just observe whatever comes in your way and go about it, what is in front of you. And with that, because once you do that, and once you are, because things will 99% will go right. The probability of going wrong is 1. But the 1 is being propagated so much, because of the publicity and other things. Our mind is clogged with all these kleshas, the possibilities, the probabilities that it may happen or not. Don't have the kleshas. Because after all, all of us are reflection. Because when it is a reflection, even the pilot, who is going to pilot the plane is a reflection, and so are the people, who are maintaining it. They are also one that other. And only they will, because by sending, the proper energies and all, by thinking, because the positive thinking, and because positive thinking send the positive vibration, positive energy and all. We can only say, because look, because it should happen, it should properly happen. Even the 1%, should not be happening. And world would be a wonderful place. Even the 1%, whatever mishaps that is being done, what is being reported, and if you see the number of flights and all which is taking place all over the world and all, if it comes to about 2 to 3%, because minimum, it could be less, because for most of the time it was less than 1%. So likewise, because then you apply yourself and see the discrimination. And if the purpose is there, you will have to go, you will have to go. Okay, you have to go for a wedding. If you are going to be married, you will have to certainly fly. So you are going to attend, because someone, very close to you, you will have to fly, because then you can't be thinking all of them. But then don't have, all this, whatever has happened and all that. You don't get it, clogged into your mind. Go about it with the full. And whatever happens, because trying to see, because how, from your side, because anything, which you can do to prevent anything, in your area, try to see that doesn't happen, because we are taking as much care and attention as possible. Best endeavor. Best endeavor is always the fine solution every time, because that's what it says. Why you and then, because this is sum and substance of it, because you always consider, and since everyone is a manifestation of something, and you are also a manifestation, and therefore, because you try to be as sort of as respectful, as much concerned as to anyone else, as you will be giving to yourself. You should have a concern for others, and you should have others into account and when you are acting on that. Ekastata sarvabhutanantaratma rupam rupam pratirupa bahischese. And then last mantra in this series, 2.2.11. In mantra says, Suryo yata sarvalokasya sakshuhu. Na lipyate sakshur. Na lipyate sakshushai bahidosha. See, when the sun is having full sort of a glow, and the midday sun is glowing, but if I'm not able to see it properly, because I am having a cataract, I am having an ophthalmological problem, I am having astigmatism, because I'm saying, because some other ocular issues. Sun can't, sun is shining as he is. Whoever are capable of who is whoever has got the capacity to see, because the sun fully, and they are able to see. But I am not able to see because I have got the defect in me. So you can't, because of your defect, you can't say sun is not shining bright. It says, because don't, because uh, have the veil on yourself. See, because that is, for that, because you will have to correct yours. You will have to correct your sight. You will have to take the corrective action. You will have to have a surgery for your cataract, or you will have to get your ocular problem attended to. Then go for that. You can't be, because blaming, that I am not able to see the sun clearly and the sun is not so bright. But others are able to see the sun very clearly. Because this is exactly, it says, Na lipyate satshur bahya dosha. It is not, it is not getting, contaminated because of your, because defect in the air. Sun is as bright as, whereas you are, because you are an instrument. Basically, what we have to understand is we are all the instruments. We are getting the things done. Harikarta na aham karta. The sense, it is finally he does it. He does it through us. He gives the energy, efficiency, capacity, and capability to do us. So when whatever since he is doing it and whatever is happening, you just do to your best of you do your action as best of your efforts and just you go by because whatever comes and then because try to find what is the way to you can avoid because some of the issues which comes in your way. And you can't be thinking about whatever happened, you will not be able to correct it. And something may happen in the future also, you will not be able to do it. But from your point of view, whatever is arising to you, because whatever thought comes to you, because of your reflection, go by that. And then because don't be wallowing in the past and don't be focusing on the future. Both of them are not in front of you at the moment. Past is gone. The future is not going to be there till such time it occurs. So therefore, don't worry about that. So therefore, you have to understand, because the whole world, irrespective of the creed, religion, or country, province, irrespective of the race, the one and the only fact is God is only one. Ekam Satyam Vipra Bhahuta Bhavanti, that is what it is. The same, because all over the world it is like that. So you will have to deal with everyone with the same concern. You will not be able to differentiate. You will not be able to sort of put them in different sort of pockets and deal it. You will have to deal with them as if you will be dealing with, as if you would expect anyone to deal with you. The same concern. At the same time, because try to give whatever is, because since you are there, since we are in the manifestation, we will try to get the best, because to get the solution and to the best of our ability, we will have to bring the great qualities of kindness, compassion, love, and as well as fearlessness. Because with these things, only fearlessness will come. But if you have the fear, it will take away everything. The fear is either, because what is likely to happen, why it happened, or because if it something else happens, what to do and all this type of this thing. You will have to give up. Fearlessness is go by what because if something has happened, it's happened. Because that leave it aside and then go forward. Uttishta, Jagrita, Varan Nibotita, as it said, and arise awake, stop not, walk through the life and get the finest bliss you are entitled to, which is your birthright. With this, we will conclude today's session. Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai. तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहैः ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः